Satnam. So, what does a yogi eat? Well, I want to talk more about the how to eat versus the what. The how. You know, your mother used to tell you, make sure you chew your food. Don't just swallow it whole. And then we as kids would, do it on purpose. But what most people do is most people rush the food that they're eating. It doesn't matter what you're eating, but you rush it. Whether that's a Twinkie or a carrot. We tend to chomp, chomp, swallow. Yogi Bhajan used to say that your stomach doesn't have any teeth. He's right. Digestion starts in the mouth. So I'm going to give you a very easy thing that you can try and do. Well, it's an easy thing to do. It's not easy to do because it takes thought. So the next meal that you eat, here's what I want you to do. Take a bite of food. First of all, take a smaller portion in your mouth than what you would normally would take, but take a bite of food and then chew it. And when you think you've chewed enough, chew just a little bit more. And when you think you've chewed enough of that, chew even just a little bit more. When you feel like you've chewed it enough, swallow. And before you take your next bite, whether you're eating a sandwich by hand or you're using a fork or a spoon, before you take your next bite of food, you make sure your palate is completely clean of food. So take your tongue and just, clean your palate as you normally would, but you don't pay attention to it. So pay attention to just getting all of the food particles out of your mouth and then swallow that too. Then take your next bite. We've all heard the expression, savor the moment. Savor the moment. Well, what do we mean when we say that? Savor the moment. We mean we want to slow things down, right? We don't want that moment to go away. Whether that's spending time with a loved one or watching a beautiful sunset, we want to savor the moment. Well, when we eat our foods, this is what we also want to try and do, is savor what we're eating by paying attention to what we're eating. If you choose something that's very, very bitter, if you chew it well enough, you can turn that sweet. If you don't believe me, just try it. Pick any kind of an astringent food, any kind of a bitter food, try it. And I mean chew. You have to chew. You have to spend some time chewing. Now this takes time. This is not an easy process to do this. I don't always eat this way, but I like it when I do. So as an example, I remember timing myself once eating a baked potato. And it took me about 25 minutes to eat a baked potato. Chewing, putting my fork down, chewing well, cleaning my palate, taking the next bite, chewing. So it takes some time, but here's how I always feel afterwards when I eat this way. I feel very light. I eat less food. I digest my food so much better, and I just have more energy. So pay less attention to what you're eating. However, that is very important. Very important what you eat. And equally as important as how. You can eat the best foods in the world for you. Best organic food, whatever it is that you're eating. But if you eat it quickly, you're not digesting properly. Now, how does this eating turn into what a yogi does in their everyday life? Digestion is not just merely a physical function of eating food, but it's also a digestion of life. It is a digestion of life. Whatever circumstances come into your life, whatever events are in your life, whatever people are around in your life, take the most irritating person that you know. Think of them as the bitter, astringent food. And instead of just putting a judgment on it as you would if you were to eat something bitter where you're like, you don't like the taste of it, chew it. And if you chew it, you can turn it sweet. So take that irritating person, that irritating neighbor, the boss, whoever it is, And sit and ponder and chew on that person. And try and understand, why is it that it is an astringent to you? What is it in you that becomes an astringent? Again, keep in mind, digestion is not just about the food that we're eating, but it's all of our life circumstances. All of these things that come into our life, we have the ability to digest them, to absorb them, to take out what we need. And this is what digestion is, right? Extrapolating what is good for our body and then getting rid of the rest. So, yogis tend to pay attention to how they're eating, because it is in the how that they can learn. Even through that, a meditative lifestyle starts to develop just by slowing down what you eat and how you eat. And then how that starts to interact with how you view people and view circumstance. So, just take your next meal, whatever it is that you're eating, slow down, chew well, clean your palate with your tongue, take your next bite, and continue that process. And then you tell me that that wasn't one of the best meals you've ever eaten. Take your time chewing. As always, I wish you well. Sat Nam.